Hey, how you doing? What are you doing? Are you dancing to the intro?
I was dancing to the intro, that's all.
It's a good song.
Good.
It's a good bit.
Uh,
Zach, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Can't complain too much. How are you? How are you?
Doing a lot better. Especially because I know we kind of did we talk about it? I guess we had plans to hang out last
Yeah,
Saturday,
last week. Yeah.
and we couldn't because you were feeling a bit under the weather, which totally fine, especially with everything going on. And I was just thinking, that sucks. Oh well. And then I started to get sick somehow. I think you got me sick through the podcast.
Yes, yeah.
And so I tested myself twice actually to make sure that it wasn't COVID. And it wasn't COVID, but it was a super serious head cold that knocked me out for a good extra day. And it was not fun. And of course you're feeling better now though, right?
Yeah. Little bit of maybe TMI, but a little bit of drainage still.
Ew.
Just because the air quality has been so terrible lately. But
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, pretty good.
You know what's ironic is that people who wear their masks like regularly now because of not only the COVID spikes, but like monkeypox and just everything in the air being absolute garbage. It's actually safer to just wear a mask, period.
Yeah. Well,
Because
I mean, like even when there was a higher rate of people masking up back in 2020,
yeah,
there was a precipitous decline in just the common flu.
Yeah.
You know, like and a common cold too as well. So yeah, I mean they work.
Well-
Less people get sick.
and you know it's funny because other countries do it all the time. You see,
Mhm.
you'll see videos of people walking in the streets of like Tokyo or even some parts of China, some parts of mostly Asia, because they have a lot of wet markets on that part of the world, and so they have to deal with those airborne diseases.
Mhm.
But even parts in Europe, they have whole towns where they're like, all right, well, it's flu season, everybody wear a mask, and no one bats an eye. And I'm still losing my mind that there are people who are, well, and I'm guilty of it, right? Because I'm still going to the movie theaters, and up until recent, damn it, I just realized I typed the title for this in the Twitch. It's the Good Ghost podcast. Shit. Oh well. But
fourth name change is in full swing.
yes, version 4.0. Who's Goose? I don't know. But there's still
he's good.
he's good. And this is all about him. It's the 10th one too. But there's I'm still going out there, going to the movie theaters, and up until recently, especially after that cold that freaked me out, and with the rise of monkeypox, and it just I wouldn't. It's still getting hotter. It feels like we're getting back into those triple digits, Zach, and so. And the number of people who are also like around me wearing masks, and I'm like, I don't want to be that asshole, because like there's nothing stopping me from wearing a mask. I just got back into the feeling of not having to wear that as much anymore.
Complacency.
Yeah, and I'm not like, oh, I don't want to wear a diaper on my face kind of thing. That's a whole other thing. Yeah. So I'm getting back into. I actually bought some more masks, because the one that I had was it had drooped. It had literally become like an old diaper, and because it has those stretchy ones with like the where you can like kind of pull it to tighten and stuff. But it's comfortable, and it came with air filters and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Pretty cool. So I'm getting back into the habit of doing that. What happened?
And you don't have to pull it back up if you don't. Oh, good lord! Oh man, I just saw the format.
Yeah, it's because it's formatted this way, man. It's formatted.
Oh gosh.
Oh god.
If it's worth anything on my end, I just have the Twitch stream up in the browser, because on Discord it just says you have the application minimized. So I don't know if that's part of it.
Weird.
But whenever I hit watch stream on Discord, it's just nothing. So I have the Twitch stream up right now.
It's weird because yeah, I guess maybe the clip or the browser closed or something. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Not a big deal. But now that I have it formatted this way, I guess I'll change it whenever we get off stream today.
Yeah.
Zach, I wanted to talk to you real quick about something that I watched that might interest you. I actually talked about it in our personal friend group chat.
Lay it on me.
So it's this.
Like a bed of roses.
Is that a song? Lay it on me like a bed of roses.
Well, there's, I think there's there's a song called "Bed of Roses" by I think it's Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to. I would almost
lay me down in a bed of roses. I think that's it.
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Or mindless self-indulgence. So there's also that. But it's probably the Bon Jovi version.
I think a Bon Jovi one is what I'm thinking of.
Yes. Yeah. Not the other one. Never heard that song. Anyway, the documentary that I watched, Zach.
Oh, you bring it to me.
I did.
A documentary.
I did. In that it's kind of a documentary. It's really just kind of like a peek into like three different stories of people who met or lived their lives in VR chat during the pandemic and stuff, and how that the pandemic affected their lives. And I kind of described it in our group chat as being kind of padded with a whole bunch of like B-roll. It seemed like it's showing a lot of different worlds that these people use to one is a ASL teacher, which is really cool. She teaches classes in ASL.
Yeah, I did. That was one of the things they have in the because I've seen the trailer for this.
Yeah,
that was one of the things they have in the trailer, and I thought, wow, that's actually a really neat use for that. You know,
it's called We Met in Virtual Reality. I don't know if I said that, but the other two are about like these two couples that literally met in virtual reality and then met in real life, or IRL for you old people that like to watch the podcast. They met in VR chat and then grew over time, and they just kind of talk about how their relationships kind of blossomed and how they wouldn't have been able to meet each other otherwise. And it's kind of cool. I thought it was going to be have a little bit more substance, have a little bit more weight as to why we need to have a documentary about this. The cool twist is that it's all filmed entirely in VR chat, and so they use it to kind of highlight the cool ways that it could be used. But for the most part, it's just kind of a cool, interesting look into something that not a lot of people ever thought to gain access to, because either they think VR is a fad or they don't have the system capabilities to do it. And so I thought it was just kind of interesting. It popped up on my HBO Max highlights.
Yeah. I've added it to my watch list.
It's not long either. It's pretty short. So
we actually just put in our order for a MetaQuest.
Why?
Well, we really like Beat Saber, and especially the way we have the new. I mean, you've been in our new place.
Mm-hmm.
The living room is kind of compact, and I haven't set up I have the first version of the PSVR.
Yeah.
And there's not really there's not enough room to have it in the living room anymore. And two, I don't have the adapter to be able to utilize it with the PS5.
Yeah.
And anytime you would play Beat Saber, the cord for the PSVR would just get in the way. Well, not just the cord, but there's like the PSVR is one of the most convoluted systems I've ever had to set up. Um, did you ever have a PSVR?
No, I'm not a rich person.
If it makes a difference, it's all on credit anyway.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, there's just so many fucking wires. And when the PSVR 2 was announced, my takeaway was it was going to have one cable. Like that was the exciting part for me.
Yeah.
One cable. Like, oh my god! Instead of the 5 or whatever that you have to use for the first one, that's crazy. But even still, for something like Beat Saber, just the cable gets in the way so much, and we utilize that to for like a workout
Yeah.
routine.
Right.
So yeah, we bit the bullet on the Meta Quest 2, partly because Casey had been wanting one since it was wireless, and also because they're doing that price hike.
Yeah. For
on the 1st, on August 1st. So it was like that came out, and we're like, well, fuck, now we have to bite the bullet if we want it, because that would really be shitty to have to pay an extra $100.
And so help me rationalize why they're doing it. Is it because of the PlayStation VR 2 that they're worried about it, or
From what I understand, the hardware in the Meta 2 or the Meta Quest 2 is, and for those unaware, the Meta Quest 2 is just the Oculus. It just rebranded after the Facebook buyout. The hardware in it is actually pretty sophisticated for that price point. So, historically, console manufacturers will sell their consoles at a loss anyway, because they anticipate making that back in software sales. With Oculus / Meta, there is no software; it's all hardware based. So they were just selling it. Not like Facebook needs to make any more money, but obviously they're going to be like, how can we minimize loss? And that way would be to raise the price of the hardware, because you're not making anything back on software.
Right.
So from what I understand, that would be the the acceptable reason. Now, whether or not that's the case, I'm not entirely sure. It could just be them being like, we want more money. So
I mean that's also, yeah, it's funny because you're definitely going to get all kinds of different perspective as to why they might be doing it. They definitely have been selling it at a loss all the way up until this point, and a lot of people didn't buy into the whole VR like capabilities kind of thing because there was only a few killer apps and they were on other systems as well. So people who had the money and the systems bought HTC Vives, or they bought whatever the Steam machine thing.
The oh man, what the Index,
Steam Index, yeah. And then the PlayStation had they already had the player base to sell the PSVR. You're like, you already have the machine, you might as well get the thing that good. And then
well, and with the PSVR, at least with the first one, the price of it was actually fairly commensurate with the hardware you were getting.
Right.
It was definitely, aside from like your Google Glass, or not Google Glass, what was the Google one?
Google Cardboard.
Cardboard, yes, yeah. Aside from those little mini ones that you could buy for like $60 or $50 or whatever, PSVR was like the most affordable entry point for like equal hardware.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was under the assumption that if I were to ever get a second VR system, it was going to be like an Index. The problem with that being that it's so cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to get it for a while. But with the Meta being wireless, it's like, well, that comes with its own pluses, and yeah, I would really like to be able to play Beat Saber without having to trip over a fucking cord.
Yeah.
Because especially with the faster songs, you do get into it, and you're in the zone, and then you like fucking trip over your own fucking feet or whatever.
Now
and
you
it's
only have
like
to worry about tripping over your dogs whenever you.
dogs, yes, yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's always going to be a
Or
problem.
it's or freaking out the birds.
That too.
Where they're like, "What the fuck are these idiots doing?"
Or just your partner worrying what the fuck. I mean, your wife is going to be doing the exact same thing you're going to be doing with it, which is Beat Saber. And the other counterpoint is, didn't they say that they were going to like? There's not a huge library of songs of Beat Saber, right?
So, from my understanding, you can use the Quest 2 with Steam, which would include all the songs on there. Which there's more songs and there's a modding community in there, so you just do the workshop to put in whatever songs you want, essentially.
Okay.
Whereas with Beat Saber on the PSVR, it was all just whatever they had to offer.
Right, the licensing deals
so,
with them.
They're you just like get more. It's like the same technically in the long run, but you have more available to you to be able to resource.
That was my biggest fear, is that it was going to be limited to whatever Meta's OS is for the headset itself.
Yeah, they do have. Originally, when Facebook acquired them, it was like nothing changed for I think like a year or two. And then they came out and said you need a Facebook account to utilize the headsets now, which understandably pissed off everyone who had an Oculus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just looking it up recently, for obvious research purposes, and it seems like they have now made it so you do not have to link it to a Facebook account. You can just create like a normal Meta account, like that's separate from. It's like
it's the same thing.
It's the same server, but it's not like, oh, I gotta hook it up to my fucking social network or whatever. Yeah. So there's that. Social network. I mean, like
Jesse Eisenberg can hack into your your Meta Quest.
And here's the thing, like, I have a Facebook account. I just never use it anymore. Occasionally, I'll like get on there and like one or two things, and then I won't be on there again.
Yeah, I have a burner. I have a burner account.
Yeah.
I deleted mine forever ago.
So it's like, if I'm not going to use it, then I don't fucking care. And it's like I have a Twitter, so if anyone really wanted my shit, they would find it on Twitter anyway.
Yeah, all your risque tweets.
Yes, yeah. Where I'm telling Ted Cruz to go fuck himself half the time.
I'm gonna find a dirty tweet for you. Go ahead, keep describing your fantastic life while I find your.
But other than the meta news, I'm still kind of in a game slump at the moment. I'm not like wanting to jump on anything too intensive. So, what would you just pull up there?
I typed in your Twitter handle, and it's under a Susie Henderson. So,
from Stranger Things,
I guess. But the last tweet was going back to school. Frowny face. January 8th, 2010. That may have just been a throwaway account for somebody. I don't know. Also,
you looked up my Twitter handle and that popped up?
Full Metal Z, but I spelled it wrong. So let's just.
That would be one. Yeah. I was like, I have no idea who this Susie Henderson is, or that they're going back to school. But good for them.
Yeah.
But yeah. So since I'm not jumping on anything like crazy big, I've just been playing a shit ton of Picross.
Yeah, I saw you playing this on Steam the other day. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That was one of those, like, what is it called? It's a very specific type of word. Right. It starts with the letter N. Hold on.
Like a nonogram?
Nonogram type puzzle. Mm. I've played Sudoku. I've played the other one that starts with a K, I think. Hold on. I'm just gonna look up different.
There's Klondike, but that's solitaire.
That's also a candy bar. I'm thinking of kind of nonogram games. Monograms. Oh well, this is just gonna give me Picross.
I'm pretty sure nonogram is just a catch-all for just Picross,
What?
from what my understanding was. Sudoku is something separate.
Right. Sudoku, Kakuro, Kakuro.
I didn't realize nonogram was like encapsulated all of those.
I mean, like the puzzles that have like
the grid.
grids, basically, like crosswords, but like obviously more complicated. But go into detail about what Picross is.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, Picross is you have generally it's a 10 by 10 grid. It can go up more than that. The other one would be like 15 by 15, but really you can do any size you want. But it's a grid with empty rows and columns. So think basically an empty crossword grid, like you said, but
Right.
no black squares. And then on the outside, you have numbers. And based on those numbers, you fill in the squares within the grid to make a picture. So if it was a 10 by 10 grid and one of your columns has a 10 above it, you'd fill in that entire row. And then, you go through the rest of the grid and you would make a picture once you're done.
Right.
And it's just a logic puzzle. There'll be spaces in between some of the numbers. So if you have, again, a 10 by 10 grid and you have, let's say, an 8 and a 3. No, that's not right. 8 and a 2. 8 and 2. I think. Fuck it.
If it's this hard to explain, how you're
it would actually. It's one of those things that if I had a if I was streaming a Picross game right now, it'd be way easier to explain.
I'll pull it up.
I would just play the game.
I'll pull it up.
But anyways, you would sometimes input blank spaces in between some of the filled spaces, and that would create your negative space. So I see 3 squares there, and nothing else.
Hold on, we got it.
Okay, you're pulling the game up.
Yeah,
hey, let's walk through the first puzzle. Let's do this.
The very first puzzle. Okay.
Okay, so you have first example right there. So you have in the middle column you have 10 above of that. So
yes.
you would just fill that whole column up. Fill that whole column up.
All of it?
All of it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're done with that column. That column's empty. Okay. Same with the rows on the bottom there. To see all those 2 10s of the
so these 2 rows right here. Okay.
Not those 2 rows. Right there. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Fill all those in. You got a little bit of a delay here.
That's okay.
Ow. Okay, so now to describe what my thought process was in that column that has a 1 and then an 8.
Yeah, this one.
So that's telling you that in the middle of that column, you're going to have 8 squares filled in, and then a separation between that and another 1. So using, counting, you would count from your the bottom of that column up to 8, and then you would see that, okay, to be able to separate the 8 and the 1, I now have to fill in that second from the top square with a, if you right click that second from the top square, right click, not left click.
There we go. An X.
Yes. So that's telling you nothing goes there. So now you know that all the squares below that are filled in, and the square above the X is filled in.
Okay. I'm so confused still somehow.
And then, on the bottom row, you see that has a 6 in it, right?
Yeah.
You already have 2 filled squares there. So you can logically assume that the one between those 2 is also filled in because you don't have any numbers that also go there. So you would fill in that middle square.
Because I don't have a 1 next to the 6 or something?
Right, because you're only going to have 6 filled in squares there.
Okay.
And by the same logic, you would be able to count. Okay, so I already have 3 filled squares right there.
Right.
There's either going to be another 3 on the right side or another 3 on the left side. So taking that into account, you can put an X in the very first square on the left because you know you're not going to have any more than 6 filled in squares.
Okay.
And so you just use like logic and deductive reasoning to get through the whole thing, and by the end of it, you have a picture.
And so it's basically okay. So it's Sudoku / Minesweeper.
Yes. Other than the fact that I actually just tried to play Minesweeper again for the first time in like 5 years the other day, and I still don't fucking understand Minesweeper. Minesweeper, I do not get.
I actually watched a popular VTuber going back to virtual reality and 3D and all that. I watched a VTuber explain how to win any kind of Minesweeper puzzle, like through logic, and it's the same exact way you were describing it to me, basically, but using like literal numbers, like the 1 or the 2 or the 3, and then the red flags and stuff. So it's the same basic like kind of principle. You're just like deducing what spots are basically.
And that principle was the thing that made me go like, you know what? I like Picross. I'm decent enough at Picross now. Let me try Minesweeper again. So then I did it, and I don't know what it is about Minesweeper, but the way that game functions, I just cannot wrap my fucking head around. Like something to do with like, oh well, if all these adjacent ones count for a possible mine, but it also counts diagonal. So and then you have to work from one side to the other because sometimes the one you're counting isn't that square that you're looking at, and it's like, oh my fucking god.
It can definitely get complicated, but the VTuber I'm thinking of is Girl DM. If you're not familiar, Girl _ DM. She's very popular on Son of a Bitch. Very popular on Twitch. You can find her on YouTube as well. So there's that.
Oh yeah, they've just been a ton of that.
And the version that you're playing is called Picross for a Cause. Is it still doing that? I think we vaguely talked about it.
It's not. So I'm really bummed about this actually because I felt like I had been searching for another Picross game for months. And then in the span of like one evening, I found like 3 free ones.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. But to go along with that, this one specifically wasn't free up until like 4 days ago or something, which really kind of bummed me out because it was at the time taking all the proceeds of anyone who purchased it. Giving them to a and I forget what the
I could look it up.
Organization what it was that it was donating to, but it was taking all those proceeds and then donating to that organization. When I saw that, I was like, man, I would have definitely paid money for this because I'm like, I completed all of the basic 10x10s and basic 15x15s, and there's
NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund.
Yeah. I want to say there's like, gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, probably like 24 or 30 puzzles per batch on a single page. And then there's 4 pages per batch. So like 120 puzzles or give or take for each like difficulty level. So I've already gone through 240 some odd Picross puzzles. Plus, each one has a mural at the end of it where they're all smaller puzzles, and then once you complete them all, they form a bigger picture across like 20 different ones.
Kind of reminds me of that that Reddit thing that was going on for forever, that people were basically painting certain parts of like a wall. It was like r/wall or whatever.
Our wall or something like right?
Yeah.
Our wall.
Yeah. And people were basically just designing whole pictures, like whole communities and stuff like that. And it was kind of basically small sections of this huge digital wall that they were painting, and it all became part of a bigger picture. And I like that. I like that because it makes you feel like you're a part of something bigger.
Yeah, it's neat. Um,
So, yeah.
yeah. So I've already done that many puzzles, and I still have like 3 or 4 batches left to go through, and I'm at like 30 or something hours in the just that one alone. So you would have definitely gotten your money's worth if you were able to donate.
Well,
in time.
it's definitely a change of pace from Elden Ring. That's for sure.
Yes. Can I also say though? I was just telling my wife this last night. I might be in trouble
Uh-oh.
because as I'm sitting here and taking a breather from like the bigger games and just doing like my little pit cross puzzles every night and just enjoying my calm, relaxing number picture time.
You're 2 degrees separated from doing actual crosswords in bed with your wife.
I love crosswords, by the way. I no joke, enjoy doing a crossword.
That's fair.
For you know. But as I'm doing my little calm puzzle things here, at the same time, I'm also thinking, man, I'm kind of getting the itch to play Elden Ring.
Damn it! There are other games out there, Zach.
It's a disease.
Well, infected. You know what's fucked up? I have literally no ground to stand on because as I got finished with the summer event for Genshin Impact the other day, I'm like, I want to play literally anything else, and I looked down my library of games, and I'm like, so I downloaded Honkai Impact the Third, which is just it's the sister game of the same creator, and I'm like, I want to try it out.
You'll know what to expect, right?
I'll know exactly what to expect. The only thing is I'm basically just copy pasting the game I'm already sick of playing all the time and playing a different version of it. And I have Tales of Arise, which I started, and I've just been incrementally like an ant across an entire backyard. Just slowly making my way through, and then I making my way down to and then the same thing with Apex Legends. I'm trying to slowly but surely get a little bit better, but I'm getting slowly worse, I think. So it's
that in between time where like the skill level that you're at is low enough to where you feel like you're on a competitive like basis with everybody else that you're playing with.
Yeah.
But then as you get a little better, then you hit that middle point where like you're still not great, but it feels like everyone else is better than you.
Yeah. And that's the problem. And I actually found out, and I'm gonna use this as an excuse. Apparently, the server that I use, because we live in Texas, the Dallas server is apparently super toxic and like super competitive, like a lot of professional streamers. Well, I mean, to be fair, and I'm not doxing anybody, but there is a particularly notorious streaming group that live in Austin that probably use the same server as other people who live in Texas or the neighboring states. 100 Thieves, or like, no, not 100 Thieves. It's OTK. And like other, and I'm not calling them out or like saying, oh, they suck. You know, they're making it worse for everyone who's a total noob at the game. But I'm definitely saying that gamers of that ilk, and it's like it's the same thing for Californian based gamers or New York based gamers. There's always some server that has a certain subsection that's just toxic as hell. So I'm blaming everyone else for being really much better at the game.
Yeah,
so
scrub it up. And that's always a risk, or not a risk, but like a side effect of a game being out for a longer period of time as well. Obviously, the people who continue to play it, their skill level is going to continue to rise. But the longer a competitive game like that is out, generally the less amount of people playing it will also be. So anyone who's new to it is going to just automatically, by virtue of having less unexperienced players there, be partnered with those more experienced players. So,
or people who don't play it every day or who don't get paid to play it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if I got paid to professionally play a video game day in and day out, and again, not knocking anyone for doing it, they have way better, just everything. But they also get paid to do it, and so they get incentivized to do it, and so they will get better by virtue of playing more.
Yes, yeah.
Some of us have
Yeah,
9 to 5 jobs.
they don't have any other responsibilities at that point, so you can treat it as a job.
What I hate,
Uh,
what I hate is that they become entitled from doing it, and that's the thing. There's a lot of great like. I'm just burying us. I'm burying us, man. We're never gonna be successful.
Yeah,
Woo!
get it. Bury
But
us with the fucking pro gamer community.
but there's a lot of great streamers out there who are who I assume are super nice people. They donate to the right charities. You know, they are actual decent human beings who are really nice to approach, you know, in real life. But there are a lot of them, and I
It's a
mean like
toss-up.
it's literally 50-50. It's the same in any other community of any other pastime, virtual or otherwise. But it's way more noticeable when you get to literally watch them online for free at any point in time. So
Not only that, but generally you're incentivized to be a somewhat of a known personality. So you get sponsorship deals and stuff like that. So you could just happen upon a pretty well-known, I mean, just recently well-known Smash player who went to a fucking fighting game tournament morning of his match, one of his matches,
mhm.
coughing up blood in his hotel room, goes to the hospital to get it checked out, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, you probably have COVID, man. You should not do anything else. Oh no, you're good. Just give me some stuff to get through the day, and then I'll be fine." Then proceeds to go to said fighting tournament and play, and potentially infect everyone there.
Yeah.
After literally coughing up blood the morning, this is Hungry Box, by the way, if you don't know,
Yeah.
Smash player who has had his troubles in the past. Other than this,
Yeah,
as
isn't
well.
he like super toxic?
Yeah, this is not a new thing by any stretch of the imagination. But just to give you a kind of idea, the possibility of the type of person you might run into in the scene.
That's the thing, man, is and yeah, just that kind of personality, that kind of behavior. What the fuck? I get it. You're doing it. You were there for your job, kind of thing. But when a doctor tells you, "Hey, no, listen to the doctor. They know way more than you." We have a friend who is a doctor who knows way more than us.
Here's the worst thing though. Is if I remember correctly, it wasn't even like he was going to play for like first place or anything. He was already in losers bracket.
Oh, then fuck him. He's already a loser. So why even show up? Why even show up? Just forfeit, go home, you know? Go back to your like penthouse not apartment. I was gonna say hotel room, get like hotel service. You already fucking lost. So what's the point?
Yeah, people are insane. To pivot away.
Yeah.
Just to segue to something completely different.
Sagui.
I started watching The Bear this week.
The Bear. Okay, this is a show that I keep telling both myself and my roommate, like, I should really start this show because it's on Hulu. And I like the actor in it. My roommate doesn't, but I'm like, it looks interesting.
Did he not like him in Shameless or something?
He doesn't like he has a very punchable face, is what. And I agreed with him.
I could see it. I could see it.
He does. I mean, he has a very punchable character in Shameless. So
I think that's probably the majority of where that statement is coming from. And just seeing some of the later Shameless stuff, because Casey watched Shameless. I believe his character grows, so he's less of a punchable person by the end of it, I think.
I mean, he's less of a dick. I actually stopped right when I caught all the way up to like season 7, I believe, right before everyone started leaving one by one. Like literally the season right before I believe Fiona left. Or no, it was Ian. It was Cameron Monaghan. But like he starts having sex with his professors at university and stuff. His character is not the best out of all of them, but he's probably the most morally centered out of all the
Well,
Gallagher children.
considering, that one of your characters is fucking Frank Gallagher, that's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah. Just can we
Uh,
give a quick shout out to I just blanked on his name. Macy, William H. Macy. Thank you. Just in general, I watch Mystery Men. I know I'm just distracted. I'm
Jurassic Park 3.
Jurassic Park 3, shitty movie, terrible character.
How dare you? How dare you?
It's a terrible movie. Rewatch it. Because I did.
You just rewatched it. You said it was fine.
No, I didn't. Son of a bitch. Yeah, no. I hard disagree. But he was great in Mystery Men. Mystery Men was great.
Jeremy Allen White is the guy who stars in The Bear that is also from Shameless.
Right.
I'm 3 episodes deep out of 8, I think. The first season. It's a good show.
Is it?
You should watch that. Yeah, I will pile onto the recommendation. I think you'd like it. It is a dark comedy, emphasis on the dark.
Okay. Is he serving up people? Is he a chef serving up people?
Not that dark. It's dark in the like everyone's sad sort of way.
Oh, fun! I can't wait. I'm knee deep in Peaky Blinders, and I want to pivot to something just as dark. That's great.
The crux of the show is off the back of his brother committing suicide. He leaves this like fancy restaurant. He's like a 5-star chef or some shit at a restaurant, and then comes back home to work at his now deceased brother's like hole in the wall restaurant. And when he gets back there, it's just like there's a mountain of debt. They're not doing shit correctly. It's dirty as hell. One of the episodes has a health inspector that shows up and gives him a C. It's just like it's already a depressing situation, and you can just feel like it's like when you try to stuff more things into the trash can after it's already full. It's that kind of feeling, but there's also some like humor in there. There's some funny jokes.
There's also some funny jokes. So some laughable, teachable moments.
Laughing through the pain.
I mean, I guess it's definitely the way you're describing it, I'm like, okay, so it's like a spin-off of Shameless, because it was very much a dark comedic show.
It's not that. There's not like any, at least so far, there's not like a crack baby or anything. Like,
okay. As long as we hurdle over that small.
Yeah, I know it seems like a bare minimum, but hey, like, you know, that's Shameless.
That's very true. So, it's very close to the plot of Chef, starring Jon Favreau.
Kind of.
Did you ever see the movie?
Yeah, I love that movie. Actually, I think it's a great movie.
It just reminded me of that. So
I mean, it's a chef. It takes place in a kitchen, but I would say that's pretty much where the similarities.
So what is the titular bear in this scenario?
The bear is the name of the restaurant that his uncle owned.
Okay.
And so Carmi, or the main character, comes back to like fix it up and make it, you know, what he wants. Man, you guys were quiet.
Like, what?
All day.
What the hell, Frodo?
And now?
Samwise. Fuck.
Like, yeah, that is the name of the restaurant.
I gotcha. Okay. And it's only 8 episodes, so I could probably burn through, and they're all hour long.
They're 30 minutes mostly, give or take 10 or so. I think the last episode I looked at, it was closer to an hour, but that's the season finale. So, but other than that, yeah, I mean, the 3rd episode I think is like 29 minutes, and most of them are like mid 30 or so.
Okay, see, I like when shows, especially streaming platforms, they're like, wait, you have some that are 30 minutes and some that are almost an hour, and they're like, yeah, is that okay? They're like, yeah, sure. Fuck it. Stranger Things being a more recent example, like, just let them fuck with the runtime. Let them tell the story that they need to tell in that one episode with however long they need. And then, yeah, we're all good. Everyone's good. If they're interested, if the watcher, the consumer, us, is interested in the show, then let us watch it and we'll be interested. It doesn't matter about the runtime. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, hour and a half.
Well,
I'm 6 episodes in.
it helps too because for the bear, because a lot of it, I mean, there's a plot, there's a general through line, but most of it is character work that is reacting to the surrounding stuff. So you just get like a really good concentrated, like, we're gonna work on this person right now,
Right.
and it's like drip. Oh man, how do I explain this? Concentrated character work, just like no fluff, and doing as much as possible with the time that they've allotted themselves, and it works. It doesn't feel like there's really anything that that's kind of lacking there, or I felt like they could have done more with that sort of thing. They just have a goal and they do it.
Well, that's cool because I liked him in Shameless. I'm not pivoting us back towards that, but I always kind of hoped that whenever that show ended, that he was going to be able to land onto another great show, and that's what people are saying. People are really loving the show, so
yeah.
I'll give it a watch.
That's why I dropped in. I'm pretty. Most of the time lately, I've been a little bit more television watchy, just off the back of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty choosy with the stuff that I spend my time watching most of the time. So when I saw that it was getting pretty decent reaction, that it was like, oh yeah, I should drop in, and yeah, it's good.
So I've been the same way. For the longest time, I was always like, I want to watch the show because I've already watched the first 6 seasons, so I might as well watch season 7. Now I kind of just go with my gut. There's so many different things to watch, like so many good shows. I was just talking to a mutual friend the other day about how the Orville season 3 is really good, and I kind of just watch it whenever it lands, or I'll watch it if it suits my fancy, if that makes sense. Like even if the newest episode lands, I don't think, oh, I have to watch it. I have to dedicate an hour and a half of my time to an episode of a show because I've watched every episode this season, so I have to.
Right. It's not a job. You're actually wanting to watch it.
Right. And we've gone through literally 2 different versions of this podcast where it felt like a chore at certain times just to catch up on a show. And lately I've just gone, no, I want to watch this documentary about virtual reality, Yeah.
See, and that's what made me come to those podcast episodes and be like, I watched an hour and a half long documentary on Sesame Street.
Not when you had the potential to watch literally anything else. God damn, things that are interesting. The making of French fries or how clouds are made.
I probably shouldn't tell you this because it'll just send you into a tizzy. But when I chose to watch The Bear, it was actually between that and The Boys.
What the fuck?
Said, you know what? I'll make Nick wait longer.
God damn it! It literally just ended. The 3rd season is their best season so far, and you still have yet to even dip your fucking little pinky toes in. And I'm wondering why. Why.
At this point, it's just a bit.
It's a very annoying bit. You could see somebody's dick explode, and instead you're choosing to watch.
I'm watching Depressed Cook.
I'm watching Depressed. We could all watch that. All we have to do is go to any fast food restaurant and just look through the server window. Unfortunately,
Good. Real upper right there.
I mean, how else are we going to pivot into something more?
You just do what I did earlier. Just go, well, I'm not touching the last thing that was just said.
I don't have that filter, Zach. I don't have that filter. I guess we could wrap up with a quick look into the future. I actually finally set this up to where it works perfectly. Here is the schedule for next week. Hey, I'm finally working on these in advance. But the stream schedule, Monday, I'm going to be listening to some Dino Smut.
Ooh.
That's from 6 to 8 p.m. No. It's worse. And then Tuesday, Barely Playing comes back with As Dusk Falls, the newest release. It's on Xbox Game Pass. Gonna check that out for a little bit, see where that leads us. Wednesday, we're gonna be off. Thursday, Barely Playing Remix The Bunker. We're no longer playing Road 96. I think I'm gonna finish that off stream. It's not really hitting it off. But that's okay. It's not. Yeah. So we're gonna try The Bunker. That's probably gonna be a one-off, and then Friday is gonna be another day off, and then Saturday we're gonna have another Good Goose podcast like today.
Yeah. Can I make a Barely Playing request?
Fine. Yeah. What?
I request that you play Power Washer Simulator.
You want? Well, you have to show up for that. Then you have to be there for that.
I'll show up for that.
You can literally show up for any number of these streams, and you choose not to. It's literally just me there entertaining our audience.
I'm still at work when you're streaming.
It could be any. Well, that is kind of my fault. All right. Well, finally, let's talk about some merch because we don't give it enough love on this show. That is a blatant.
That is bleak. Yes.
There we go.
Let's talk about merch. Fade to black.
Fade to black. Stream ends. So if you head on over to store.lightscamernonsense.com, I know it's a mouthful. We are working on the URL. Where you can head on over to our store, The Gaggle, and feature some of our sweet products. I actually have a whole bunch of these at home. The Zachzilla versus King Nick Lights Camera Nonsense poster, fantastic. Got this. I got the LCN poster hanging up on my wall. A great Team Jersey t-shirt for the Lights Camera Nonsense year 3 anniversary. It turns out to be it was our last year. And then Barely Playing, we have a couple of different versions of that shirt along a Good Goose cup. You got the Good Goose shirt. We got the Flying the Goose poster, which we also have hanging on our each individual walls, I assume. You can also get it in shirt form. And then we also have the Bee Goose Skelegoose sticker, shirt, and tank top.
Favorite Elden Ring enemy.
Yes, Skelegoose. So we're always reformatting the store. We're always putting up new products. Stick around, for new updates. We always update it. So store.lightscamernonsense.com. Again, working on the URL. We're gonna make it smaller. We're gonna make it shorter. It's gonna be easier. Stay tuned. But this has been the Good Goose Podcast number 10. Zach, thank you so much for sticking. Good Goose. Good Ghost. It's the Good Ghost podcast.
Good Ghost, yeah. The first and last.
Damn it! I promise it's going to be right in the YouTube edit. If you haven't been seeing the links down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, if you've been watching us live, we're also on social media. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. We are on YouTube, obviously. If you ever want to watch our VODs if you missed our VODs, if you missed any episode, we're right there on YouTube. Just search for Good Goose Podcast, and we are there. It's just about every one of our streams show up there, either unedited or edited because I fucked up the desktop audio somehow. So it's just going to happen.
It's a natural.
Listen, I'm not perfect, all right? Thank you so much for watching. We're going to see you next week. If you didn't see, here's our fucking schedule again. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.